Let's check these microphones. Okay, we're okay. Back to normal. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanda Balava Girivardhari Gopi Chanda Balava Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajadana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th Canto, 9th chapter, verses 27, 28. We will chant the verse for 27. And if you speak close into the microphone, the people who are watching can also hear you. Otherwise, it sounds like I'm just speaking to myself here. Yes. Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari Swang rupang jagrihe hari Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari Pita praye mrite devaya Bhagavan loka bhavanaha Pasyatam asarendranam Swang rupang jagrihe hari. Word for word. Pita praye. When almost finished being drunk. Amrite, the nectar. Devai, by the demigods. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mohini-murti. Loka bhavanaha, the maintainer and well-wisher of the three worlds. Pasyatam, in the presence of. Asura Indranam, all the demons with their chiefs. Swam, own. Rupam, form. Jagrihe, manifested. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of the three worlds. Thus, when the demigods had almost finished drinking the nectar, the Lord, in the presence of all the demons, disclosed his original form. Repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of the three worlds. Thus, when the demigods had almost finished drinking the nectar, the Lord, in the presence of all the demons, disclosed his original form. After the demigods drank all the nectar, because none was given to the demons, then the Lord Mohini-murti shows, here's who I really am. And then they realized they got tricked. Okay, there's no purport on this one, so we'll go to the next one, which I don't have written up here. So I'll attempt to chant the Sanskrit, and then we'll do the translation and the purport. Evang suragana samadesha kala hitvarta karma mattayo pipale vikalpaha tatramritang suragana palam ancha sapur. Yat pada pankaja raja shrayanam na daityaha. Translation: the place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity, and the ambition were all the same for both the demigods and the demons. But the demigods achieved one result and the demons another. Because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, they could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 11, it is said, Ye yatamang prapajante tang sataiva bhajam yaham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme judge who rewards or punishes different persons according to their surrender unto his lotus feet. Therefore, it can actually be seen that although the karmis and the bhaktas may work in the same place, at the same time, with the same energy, and with the same ambition, they achieve different results. The karmis transmigrate through different bodies in the cycle of birth and death, sometimes going upward and sometimes downward, thus suffering the results of their actions in the karma chakra, the cycle of birth and death. The devotees, however, because of fully surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord, are never baffled in their attempts. Although externally they work almost like the karmis, the devotees go back home, back to Godhead. Back to Godhead. And achieve success in every effort. The demons or atheists have faith in their own endeavors, but although they work very hard day and night, they cannot get any more than their destiny. The devotees, however, can surpass the reactions of karma and achieve wonderful results even without effort. It is also said, Palena pariciyate. One's success or defeat in any activity is understood by its result. There are many karmis in the dress of devotees. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead can detect their purpose. The karmis want to use the property of the Lord for their selfish sense gratification, but a devotee endeavors to use the Lord's property for God's service. Therefore, a devotee is always distinct from the karmis, although the karmis may dress like devotees. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 9, Yagyartat kamano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. One who works for Lord Vishnu is free from this material world, and after giving up his body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. A karmi, however, although externally working like a devotee, is entangled in his non-devotional activity, and thus he suffers the tribulations of material existence. Thus, from the results achieved by the karmis and the devotees, one can understand the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who acts differently for the karmis and jnanis than for the devotees. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita therefore says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta Mukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Shanta. The karmis who desire sense gratification, the karmis who desire sense gratification, the jnanis who aspire for liberation by merging into the existence of the Supreme, and the yogis who seek material success and mystic power, are all restless, and ultimately they are baffled. But the devotee who does not expect any personal benefit and whose only ambition is to spread the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is blessed with all auspicious results of bhakti yoga without hard labor. Om Jnana Timiranda Shakina Jana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave. Although sometimes those of us who are practicing Krishna consciousness also work hard. but it's different. The results are different because the consciousness is different. And that's the point here. So Srila Prabhupada started off the purport explaining the demigods devotees, demigods are devotees. The demigods and the demons, they had made a truce to not fight with each other, but to work together. But and Srila Prabhupada said they were doing the same activity. They were churning the ocean of milk with the big snake and turning the Mandara mountain like that. They were doing that together, same activity. Their goal, both demigods and demons, was to get the nectar, and they ultimately, although the agreement was they would share it, but the demigods wanted to have it to themselves. Why should we give it to those demons? And the demons were thinking, we're not going to let those demigods get anything. So they all had the same purpose. Only difference was that the demons were thinking, by our strength, our all of our qualifications, that we are so much more qualified than these demigods. By our strength, we will succeed at what we were doing. And the demigods, well, actually it was this whole attempt to churn the ocean of milk to get nectar or get anything from it, that Lord Vishnu told the demigods that this is what you should do. right now, if you fight with the demons, they'll just defeat you. It's not time for you to be to be on top. So he told him like that. So better you don't fight with the demons, declare a truce. You come to some agreement that so that you can work together or at least exist together like that. And yeah, and you can work together. Demigods and demons, you can work together. And then Lord Vishnu told them, okay, what you should do, demigods, you go to the demons, you propose, why don't we work together, return this ocean of milk on this sweet to sweet planet, and in the end, then of course the goal was to get the nectar, and then everyone would share it. But it was Lord Vishnu's idea, so he was actually favoring the demigods. He was saving them from fighting with the demons, because that's why they came to him in the first place. We can't. The demons are defeating us, so he came. He gave them this way to stop fighting, and then of course nectar means that you don't die. Your body, it's like a way of living for a very long time. So they did like this. So all the way through, the demigods and demons had the same purpose, except that the demigods were doing this under the direction of Lord Vishnu, and the demons were just thinking, let's go in there and get this nectar and keep it among ourselves. And at one point, the demons, when the nectar became available, what was his name? The incarnation who came with the nectar.
Woman?
No. Before that, when the nectar first came out, who was holding the nectar? You don't remember. Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is the source of the beginning of our Ayurvedic medicine. Okay. So he came out of the ocean, and he was holding the pot of nectar. But we'd say by Krishna's arrangement, the demons grabbed this nectar from Dhanvantari. But then, also by Krishna's arrangement, the demons were fighting amongst themselves. Who should drink it first? I mean, who gets most of it? Because you have thousands of demons there, and each one's going to take a little bit. Now, whoever's first is going to try to get more. So they fought amongst themselves, and then Lord Vishnu manifested himself as this Mohini-murti incarnation, and the demons started thinking, "Wow, beautiful lady, beautiful woman," and by her talk, by how she would walk, by her smile, like that, and they became completely captivated with her, and they developed some trust in her, and ultimately they gave her, okay, you decide how to divide this, because they were fighting amongst themselves what the demons were, and she indicated by her actions that she favored the demons. So they thought, no, don't worry, let's let her distribute the nectar to us how she sees fit. But in the end, of course, Mohini-murti is actually Lord Vishnu. It's an incarnation. So she, in the end, the Lord revealed, we're reading now, he revealed his original form. And the demons, now they realize that, oh, we made a big mistake. big mistake. We trusted this woman who was actually Lord Vishnu. So now he reveals himself. So this purport is very instructive, because here we are. We try to see how to apply Srimad-bhagavatam to our own lives. This is the point. It's not just stories. They're real life activities that we use as a guide for how we can live to become Krishna conscious. Anything I'm saying, you're getting it? Well, sorry. We'll have to learn some Russian or something, or Georgian. Yes. Anyway, but what Srila Prabhupada taught us was how we can do what we have to do in the material world, but do it in the consciousness of serving Krishna, in the consciousness in Krishna consciousness. So most everyone has, to work outside in the material atmosphere. Everyone, practically the whole world, has to work in that way. So the working has to go on, and there are many non-devotees, mostly non-devotees, who are working in the material society. But devotees also have to work. So when we are engaged in our work in the material society, then the point is to try to do it in the consciousness of Krishna. So say someone has family, they have obligations, wife, children, house, so many responsibilities, so they work. But if they are doing their work, if their family is Krishna conscious, then the devotee who's out working, he may have to deal with material things, but his consciousness should be that I am doing this to earn some money to help take care of my family, so my family can be peaceful and practice Krishna consciousness. Because it is said that one should not be in any kind of leadership position if they cannot help those who are dependent on them. They cannot help them to become Krishna conscious. They cannot help them to not take another birth in the material world. That's the instruction. So if one is a teacher, or one is a father, or a mother, or spiritual master, of course, if one's in even if one is in a position like the king, or the governor, or the mayor of the city, or like that, any leadership or teacher in school, anyone who's in a leadership position has an obligation to teach those who are dependent on them how to progress on the spiritual path, so that they can hopefully not have to take another birth in the material world. If someone is a leader but is misleading people into material life, then that is actually very sinful. Like in times of the kings, the Krishna conscious kings, Satya Yuga, previous ages, and the times of the Krishna conscious kings, the kings also collected taxes. It's just part of government. You collect taxes. But because they're collecting taxes from the people, but the other side was they had a very big obligation to protect the people and to help them have all opportunity to become Krishna conscious. That's what they had to do. The same principle is there in well, just like we have within ISKCON, or many places, but we're in ISKCON. So someone say is a spiritual master, Dakshishi Gornitai, Shishi Radha Vishwihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, or the Shikari, Prahlad Maharaj Ki. So just like someone may be in a position of spiritual master, so they're obligated to teach those who have taken shelter of them, and they have to teach them to become God conscious, Krishna conscious. In ISKCON, that means under the guide that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And if one is in such a position and is receiving service from disciples, for example, then especially such personality has obligation to help the one become Krishna conscious. And if we are taking the service and we're not giving Krishna consciousness, then is a very, very big problem. Because if one is receiving service and those who they are supposed to guide are not they're not teaching them to give up sinful life. If that is the case, then the one in the leadership position also gets reaction. Say if you're teaching or you're not guiding your dependent to become free from sin, and they become very sinful because you did not give good guidance, then you who are in the leadership position also share in that reaction. Does it make sense? You understand? A little bit. Anyway, try to understand. Does that Google thing, does it help at all, or does it make it worse? The translator. Does it help at all?
No,
It's not good. It makes it more difficult. Okay, so you must learn English and I must learn Russian and Georgian somehow. Yes. Okay. Maybe by tomorrow you can know English and we can. But anyway, so in the Srimad-bhagavatam says that if one is in a leadership position and they are accepting service, like government means you collect taxes, but if you're collecting for the people, but you're not giving them God consciousness, that's the real point, then you, and because they are misled, because they are being misled, they then engage in sinful activities. And because they're getting reaction for their sinful activities, but the leader who did not properly teach them, he is also getting up to 1/6. Is it 1/6? 1 part of 6 of those same reactions because of not properly leading them. That is the the case. And of course, if the leader is very, very good and helps people become pious and more God conscious, then of course he gets the other side. He gets a lot of extra personal benefit, spiritual benefit, because he's guiding people to become God conscious. And that could apply to any of us. If there's anyone that we're trying to guide in spiritual life, if we are guiding them, if we are misleading them in the name of, I'm the authority, but we mislead that person, then we are helping them to engage in sinful activities, and we also are getting reaction. In the Srimad-bhagavatam, fourth canto, there is a large description of Maharaj Prithu. Maharaj Prithu was a big king, very big king. But anyway, in that chapter, they're describing how the leader, if he misleads, then he gets so much sinful reaction, and if he leads properly, then he gets so much spiritual benefit. Let me see if there's any questions or comments. Somebody's listening. Okay, here's a question. Would different devotees of different incarnations of Krishna have an inclination to worship Krishna? Are most satisfied with the specific incarnation that they're worshiping now, even though they may know of Krishna? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question. Well, okay, I'll try. Normally the question is if there are many incarnations of Krishna. So there's Krishna we know like here. There's Vishnu, who's in the Vaikuntha planets, and there are many incarnations. There's Lord Nrsingadev, there's Vamana, there's the Matsya, the fish, Matsya incarnation, Kurma, the turtle incarnation, and the Hansaduta, who was a I don't understand. I'm not understanding. Anyways, many incarnations. Many incarnations, and there are certain devotees who are particularly attracted to certain particular incarnations. Prahlad Maharaj was clearly a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev, and there is a history in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya, who of course was teaching importance worship Radha, Krishna worship. That was his. He really emphasized that. But there was a devotee, who was it? Murari Gupta, I think. Anyway, one devotee who was actually who was he? It was Hanuman, I believe. Who was Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who's
Krishna's Kavya?
No. There's a pastime in there where Lord Chaitanya is trying to convince one of his devotees that you don't worship Ramachandra, you worship Krishna. Who was that devotee? Was that Murray Gupta?
I don't
Murray
Gupta.
Murray Gupta.
I'm not sure. I think it's
Okay, well, anyway, the point was Murray Gupta was a very great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he really wanted to please him. So Lord Chaitanya is asking, my best advice to you is you should give up the worship of Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra, and worship Krishna, Radha and Krishna, highest worship. You'll be more happy. He told him like that. So this devotee, trying to please Lord Chaitanya, was thinking, how can I? He tried for days. He was trying to just give up the worship of Lord Ramachandra. And finally he came back to Lord Chaitanya and said, I've tried to please you. I'm just trying so hard to give up this worship and let's worship Radha and Krishna. But in the end he says, I can't do it. It's not possible. My heart is sold out to Sita Ram. But then Lord Chaitanya said, he actually congratulated him. He was not upset. He knew his position. He knew this devotee's eternal position. So he actually appreciated that. He glorified this devotee for his strict devotion to Lord Ramachandra. So, and it doesn't really matter. We could say Krishna is the highest. Worship of Krishna is the highest. But whatever your inclination is, Grandfather Bhishma, his attachment was to Lord Vishnu, forearm form of the Lord. He knew who Krishna was. He knew his two-arm form, but his attachment was to the Lord's forearm form, the Vishnu form, and that's the form he wanted to see at the time of his death. So it doesn't really matter any actual incarnation of the Lord. If we say we want to become Krishna conscious, it means Krishna conscious, Vishnu conscious, Nrsingadev conscious, Kurma or Matsya conscious, like that. It doesn't really matter, but Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. He's the source, and we are following Srila Prabhupada, and I think most of us, all of us who are here, before coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada, we had no idea about anything about all these different incarnations. So Srila Prabhupada he is following Lord Chaitanya, and we are trying to follow Srila Prabhupada. So naturally, we've been given the opportunity to develop the certain consciousness of the Vrindavan type of love. Vrindavan love means no one can understand who Krishna is. Maybe somebody can. I think Gargamuni knew. Gargamuni, the family priest. But in general, nobody really understood. Mother Yashoda, we're seeing in the movie, we had some children's type movies, but it's Krishna's pastimes. So Krishna is going out and he's killing all these demons, or he's lifting up Govardhan Hill, doing these extraordinary things. Krishna lifts up Govardhan Hill. Everyone's amazed, and they think, "Oh, we have to go under there." The cowmen are all using their sticks. Okay, let's help Krishna. He cannot possibly hold this hill up like that. Or Krishna goes and kills the Kaliya serpent, big Kali serpent. So he does all this, and in the end, Mother Yashoda's thing. She's watching him do this. Then she kind of comes back and, anyway, you're my son. I can't understand these unusual things that you're doing, but you're still my son. Her relationship with Krishna. She cannot think of Krishna as God. Krishna does some wonderful activity, kills some demon or just something extraordinary. Mother Yashoda looks at him and thinks, Krishna, Vishnu, because of our past devotional service, our past activities, he has saved my Krishna. Somehow or other, he has saved him from this situation. When Krishna, it's coming up another month or so, the Damodar prayers, Damodar worship. So Krishna, in that pastime, he's tied up to the butter churn, or not the butter churn, the grinding mortar, and he, of course, doesn't keep him in one place because he goes between these two Arjuna trees, big trees, huge trees, and just pulls them over with the butter churn, the grinding mortar. Sorry. He pulls them over, and nobody saw him except for little children. And of course, the children are saying, "We should just pull these trees over." Of course, nobody believes the children. Mother Yashoda's, and then the ladies are telling Mother Yashoda, "You've got to watch out for your child. You're so busy doing, disciplining your child. You're not even protecting him." That and she's, because they're feeling that some wind or something else caused the trees to fall down. So, but for Mother Yashoda, there's no way that he pulled over these trees. It's not possible. She's thinking somehow or other, God has saved my son from being hurt in this way. So that's a very nice, wonderful, high level of consciousness that was not formerly easily available, but Lord Chaitanya gave us that, as Srila Prabhupada is giving what Lord Chaitanya gave. So we have opportunity to get to serve Krishna in the highest, most wonderful way if we just follow this process. We learn the philosophy, we understand Krishna's position, and we read about Krishna's pastimes, like Krishna book. And if we read about Krishna's pastimes and become attracted and attached to wanting to serve Krishna in some way like that, and we keep engaged in devotional service to the end of our lives, then we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime and join Krishna in such pastimes. That's what Srila Prabhupada gave us. So to answer the question, on one hand, yes, any worship of God, becoming a great devotee of God in any form is good. It's not that one is low class because they're worshiping the Kurma incarnation or Lord Nrsimhadev rather than Krishna, but it's all called Krishna consciousness. But if we worship Krishna and we're worshiping Krishna in the intimate mood, we develop that intimate consciousness, then we can go back to Godhead and serve Krishna as a cowherd boy or as a gopi or as a father or mother like that of Krishna in so many ways. I went over time. Any questions?
I just want a quick point. When we, not pertaining to the whole world, but just a small piece that you said about
Microphone.
it's not conclusive of the whole verse that you just read, but when you mentioned about Bhishma, wanted to see Krishna in his forearm,
Yeah.
and that's when he was lying on the bed, nails, and
That,
Krishna and Arjuna, everyone, and he was timing his departure according to the most suspicious time to leave. But did he see Krishna? He saw Krishna in his two-handed form. Right? He didn't see the forehead. He didn't see. Do you know what form he saw?
I believe he wanted to see the forearm form at that time.
He saw the forearm.
Mm-hmm. Maybe nobody else did, but I don't know. But Krishna can manifest one way for one and a different way for somebody else too. As far as I know, he wanted to see that, and certainly Krishna would fulfill his desire.
And also this term, this philosophy, question came up. This philosophy was Eastern. It's not part of the so-called culture here in America. So a lot of the terminology we understand, like for instance, the demons, the karmis, the yogis, and the jnanis. Somebody asked once, how, in India you have the yogis, those who are practicing, and then you have the karmic workers who are working for the results, and then you have the devotees. But in America, it's a whole different setting. So how, of course, karmis in America would be like considered fruitive work. They just like any work. They work for the fruits of the results. They want the benefits. They don't accept God into offering whatever it is that they get back to the Lord. But where the yogis fit in, and the jnanis. I mean, the jnanis, yes, the philosophers, the professors, and the lawyers, and all these high thinkers. But how does that translate, to us here? Understand that terminology.
The yogis, well, we're yogis. We're bhakti yogis.
Right.
So in modern times, yoga. What does yoga mean? Yoga actually means to link up with God, and religion actually means to bind back with God. That's one definition. So religion and real yoga is, real yoga is actually like an alternate word for religion. But of course, that's when someone's going for their weekly yoga practice and like that. That's not really religious. But the real goal of yoga is ultimately, even the real goal of they practice hatha yoga to some degree. But the goal of the yoga system, Satya Yuga, right, the highest rung of the ladder, as Srila Prabhupada described it, was Bhakti Yoga. So that's the perfection of yoga, and unfortunately, most people in previous times, it says out of many thousands among men, hardly one endeavors for perfection. Bhagavad Gita. Of those who endeavor for perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So that endeavoring for perfection means something transcendental. Bhakti means bhakti, or the jnanis are at least trying to become detached from the material world because they realize that there's no real benefit here. The jnanis like that, but they end up usually fall into the impersonal tendency by their speculation. But then lost my train of thought. The sorry, I actually lost my whole train of thought here.
So, and I know we're in a little over, but maybe very briefly comment on the fact that it's striving for perfection. We have here in America, or in a lot of places now, in Europe, perfection is to become a profession. Now the whole thing is, expert in computer science. We have computers. Everything is, this is their total dedication, almost like a religion. Because they want this is the result that they want. Of course, it's to make money and to be happy and material. But then you also have like the athletes. You have athletes like tennis players. I was tennis instructor. And, some of these tennis people are just like they're just every day they're just dedicating. If they put more time, if they put as much time in trying to what they do in their sport and in their professional careers as in their spiritual life, they would almost be pure devoted. It's every ounce of their energy is just condensed with trying to be successful.
Yes, and for material purpose.
Material purposes, right?
Yes. So our perfection is to become Krishna conscious. Perfection for someone else, they've got another goal.
But they still get benefit from that.
If you're dedicated to becoming a first-class tennis player, you'll become a first-class tennis player, like that. You'll get what you want. But your next lifetime, maybe you'll become a good tennis player in the next lifetime too. Who knows? But our goal is to become perfection. It means to become Krishna conscious and finish up a business in this world this time, if possible, and go back home, back to the spiritual world. That is the highest perfection. There's many perfections, material perfections, but the highest perfection is the spiritual one, the one that gets permanent results. Okay. Here. Over time here. So we'll end here for today. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday, so I think we'll finish the chapter 9 tomorrow. Chapter 9 of the Srimad of this chapter we're on. Mohini-murti. There's one or two more verses. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.